Hi guys, Freddy here. Welcome back to another Retro RPG. And at the end of a very predictable poll, we've got a clear winner with the Dungeons & Dragons Companion Rules, Set 3 from the Beck Me box sets. Now I'll cover that in the desktop in just a wee second, but I'll be back at the end of the video as usual with some other channel related stuff and more stuff about the poll. But as always, a reminder that if you'd like to support the channel, or you'd like to see these videos a week early, then there's a Patreon link to in the description below. So if you click on that and have a wee look, it'd be very much appreciated. And I'll see you at the end of the video. So this is the Dungeons & Dragons fantasy role-playing game Set 3, the Companion Rules. The third part of the famous Beck Me rules. The C, in fact. Now, first of all, I'd like to comment on the colour, because in reality this is a sort of teal colour. Whereas what I'm seeing on my camera viewfinder is a more cornflower blue. So I've no idea if it's just a screen on my camera or whether this is going to come out as the wrong colour in the video. But if it's the wrong colour, if this looks like cornflower blue, just pretend you're seeing teal. Anyway, on the back of the box, D&D Companion Set, expansion set for the D&D Basic and Expert sets. This is set 3. To be able to play the Companion Set, you should already have played both D&D Basic Set and D&D Expert Set. For character levels 15 to 25. Player's Companion, featuring rules for unarmed combat, strongholds, and new weapons and armour, plus more advanced rules and spells for your character. Dungeon Master Companion, new rules for ruling realms and the Clash of Kingdoms, new treasures and monsters, plus new adventures for your high-level characters. So basically, the Beck Me, the 5 boxes of it, took you through your character's growth. So we had the basic set, the red box, which is dungeon delving. The first few levels where you're just going down into dungeons and you're fighting a few monsters. Then the second set, the experts one, was taking you out of the dungeon into the countryside. So it was giving you wilderness rules and that kind of stuff. Now this is the higher level stuff where you're starting to build kingdoms, where you're starting to gain followers and that kind of thing. And this is my favourite part of Dungeons & Dragons. It's part which the modern versions have totally abandoned. It's something I really, really miss. So I'm going to like going through this box. Now inside, we have 2 books. Well, actually, I have 4 books, because I have 2 sets of them for some reason. I'll put the box to the side. We have the Player's Companion, Book 1. We have the Dungeon Master's Companion, Book 2. On the back, there's just the indexes. And inside, we've got a preface and a nice table of contents laying out where everything is. And the player's book is basically just the player's stuff. So we've got the changing game, upper level games, paths to immortality, dealing with what type of characters. A dynast is a character who builds great and powerful empire. A hero is a character who represents the ultimate ideals of heroism. A paragon is a character who reaches the ultimate in his or her profession. A polymath is a character who learns much about everything, not only in the original profession, but in all areas. And it also suggests a sort of split. So are you going to travel or are you going to settle? Because building an empire is one of the things, building your great kingdom, your dynasty is a possibility. But you might just want to stay as travelling adventurers. Then we've got new armour and weapons. So we've got things like bastard swords, blowguns, bowlers, heavy crossbows. And it goes through the different types, giving us some very nice artwork across here, detailing each of them. Then we've got a section on unarmed combat. We're going through different things like pinning, striking, wrestling. Then we're on to strongholds, human strongholds, demi-human strongholds, wilderness or civilization, talking about the staff, the peasant workers, the advisors and officials you might have. A big list here: artillerists, bailiffs, castellans, chamberlains, chaplains, engineers, equerries, guard captains, heralds, magists, magistrates, marshals, provosts, reeves, sages, seneschals, sheriffs, stewards, wardens, and special positions. It also starts to go through other character activity, because you're not just fighting monsters, you're actually starting to speak to people. So it's talking about different ability checks, fleshing out the game more. And then we're on to the character classes. So we've got stuff here, Your clerics becoming a landowner and choosing to travel. So it talks about how they will rise through the ranks of their religion. But most of it is dealt with the spells. So you've now got 5th level spells, 6th, 7th. And we're on to the druids, detailing about those with all their spells. Then we're on to fighters. And the fighters start to split up a bit. So we've got talking about a lawful wandering fighter, maybe known as a paladin. And it details the paladin abilities, which are pretty close to 2nd edition Advanced Dungeons and Dragons abilities. Or you can become a neutral wandering fighter called a knight. Or a chaotic wandering fighter, maybe become an avenger. And they've all got slightly different abilities. Then we're on to the magic users. So it goes again once again about being a landowner. Traveling. A wandering magic user is known as a magus. But again, most of the space is taken up with 5th, 6th, 7th level spells as you go up. Then we've got thieves. Traveling thieves are known as rogues. We've got the extra experience levels, extra abilities. And then we've got character classes, demi-humans. So they can get clan relics. They can get crafts. It goes through dwarves, elves. What they start to get as they get higher levels. Halflings. And they've got maps and new symbols. And that's it for the player's book. The Dungeon Master book is a lot more fleshed out. So, by Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. General guidelines for your campaign. Planning out adventures, your number of characters and the rate of progress. Talking about your fantasy world and fleshing it out. The setting. Obtaining a dominion. So, the lands that people can control. Dominion administration. So, you can say the assumed title. Chance of nearby reacting. As you control and create your kingdom. Or your player creates the kingdom. Tax income, resource income, experience points they get. The expenses, organising holidays, paying for troops, organising tournaments, including jousts, archery competitions. We've got confidence levels. So as the people in your newfound kingdom or domain react to what you're doing. Changing rulers and officials, different titles, barons, viscounts, counts, marquises, dukes, up to royalty, archdukes, princes, kings, emperors. Then we're on to mass combat rules, because if you're controlling a kingdom with a large army, you may wish to take them into battle. So we've got mass combat rules here, different results from that, war machines. And then we're taking the campaign further onto the multiverse. We've got the different planes, the elemental planes, the ethereal planes, interplanar adventures, elemental magic, different effects of aging, hit roll charts for the different classes, gaining treasures, pre-calculating it or randomly generating your treasures. Then we're on to different types of monsters. Different dragons here, dragon turtles, drolums, gargantua, ghosts. In the middle we've got a map, including one drawn on here. The Threshold, the Grand Duchy of Karamikos, poltergeists, golems, including mud golems, manta rays, lots of different monsters just to flesh out the higher levels and give your higher level characters a challenge. Basilisks, different hordes, gorgons. Then we're onto the treasures, the random tables, just so many different ones. Random tables of different types of wands you might find, miscellaneous treasures, rings, scrolls, spell scrolls, armor, shields, missiles or devices, special armor or shield. So many tables here, creating really interesting stuff. We've got types of jewellery you might find. Damaged gems and jewellery. Magical items. Earring. This has no effect when worn. When removed or placed against any surface, the user may hear any and all noises occurring within 60 feet of the door. Light breathing, heartbeats, and even faint breezes can be heard. The ring will function 3 times a day. Seems a bit odd that it's an earring when it's a ring, not an earring, but okay. They did like puns back in these days. The descriptions of all the different things. So we've got different types of swords, weapon bonuses, and then we've got a short adventure, the Golden Dagger, where a tournament is arranged and the players must attend it. The Arena of Gerald the Blue, the Fall of the Black Eagle. And then at the very end, we've got an epilogue and some adverts for Marvel Superheroes, Amazing Stories, Star Frontiers, and of course Dragon Magazine, with the index on the back. So that was the companion set for Dungeons & Dragons, the Bet Me boxes. And that absolutely dominated the poll this week. It got 32%. In fact, the 3 last placed games all only got 16, so exactly half of what it got. And they were the Alternity Games Master's Guide, the Ship Construction Manual for Star Trek, and the Secrets of the TSR Run for Star Wars. In fact, the only one which came slightly nearer on 20% was the Judge Dredd Companion for the Judge Dredd role-playing game. But, as always, or as I've been doing recently, all of those are wiped out of the poll now. And we've got a fresh set of 5. And this time I'm going for the top shelf over this side, which contains probably the most games on any shelf which I haven't touched on, or the most source books at least. So, going in the poll this week are Cloud Captains of Mars for Space 1889, the Crash Course Manual for Paranoia, Death's Dark Shadow for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, Fields of Fire for 2nd edition Shadowrun, and the Black Furies Tribe Book for Werewolf the Apocalypse. Now, I have no idea which way the poll will go this time, because Shadowrun sometimes does well, Warhammer does quite well, so I think it'll probably be between those two. But it could go a completely different way, because sometimes these polls are just random in my opinion. So we'll see where we are next week. Another channel related stuff, I've not much. My voice is starting to recover and I'm feeling a lot better from my bout of the flu that I talked about last week. So I probably should be doing my live stream this week, but I think I'm going to give myself a week more so I can catch up with work-related stuff and be absolutely recovered so I don't suddenly start coughing in the middle of a live stream. Other than that, I've not really much to say, and I've probably rambled on as much as I can as usual. So thank you very, very much for watching. But most of all, you look after yourselves, and I'll catch you later. Bye now.